Welcome back. We have another brand new motherfucking episode of In Reality.
Welcome.
This is your co-host, Dominic Maldonado.
And your other co-host, Omar Torres, with an A if I'm feeling professional.
Omar A. Torres.
Yeah. Not that Torres has an A,
Yeah.
but Omar A.
We don't want him confused with Omar Epps.
Yeah. Nobody wants... No. Just don't. Just don't. Or Omarion. You can't call me that. You're not allowed. You're not allowed. Nobody.
That would have been really cool in the early 2000s. So, speaking of...
That's what he wants everybody to think. Omarion wishes.
So, we have here a film that definitely parallels a lot of realities called The Intern.
Yeah. Anne Hathaway, De Niro at his...
Academy Award-winning Anne Hathaway, right?
Academy Award-winning Anne Hathaway.
Featuring Academy Award-winning Robert De Niro?
Yeah, at his... Whatever the opposite of peak is called.
Bottom? Trough?
His trough, his
Trench?
gutter.
Gutter, yeah.
Where he's only playing old man roles, which worked in Silver Linings Playbook, but doesn't really work in most everything else that
It worked in Dirty Grandpa.
No, nobody liked Dirty Grandpa. That's actually, I saw a video today, and that they considered that one of his worst performances ever. Dirty Grandpa.
He still got paid, and he's still in the union.
Oh, hell yeah, he's getting paid.
God bless him. So, in this one, De Niro is a elder person who is retired and gets bored, because apparently people get very bored when they're retired, which I never understood because as a person that never had to retire yet, probably because I'm only 30. But still, if I were to retire, I don't think I would get bored. I think I would just drink some beer, do some drugs, and just not be bored. And you're saying, well, what happens when you run out of beers and drugs? I'd be like, well, just buy some more because I have money because I'm retired. So...
Yeah, government's paying for that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll see. President Potato Head. Yeah, see, that's what happens. That motherfucker he was born retired, and so he got so goddamn bored.
You're getting confused. The word is retarded. Not retired. He was born retarded.
Ding ding. Shots fired. So, now the interesting dynamic here in The Intern, which I don't know, well, I guess it has some reality parallels. Anne Hathaway's character is stuck because she's the CEO of this very successful startup. Her husband is like estranged and begins having an affair, and Robert De Niro is the only clever motherfucker that can see through the bullshit with his old man eyes.
Yeah. So the way this internship program starts is basically they're trying to get new, fresh ideas for this this up and coming company. It's like getting really big, and so they have all these young guys, and they say, hey, let's throw an old guy in the mix just to see what it's like if we get the perspective of somebody who can barely see, you know? And so they do that, and it seems to work for them because the old guy brings in all this experience and stuff, and she's a new CEO, and she's trying to, get on track with this big company that she has now, and they're trying to bring somebody else in, and it's a really interesting concept because it kind of like throws in all this new, and then this old guy.
And he has so they do some very clever writing and things like that. Is they have him come in and he has a briefcase, and everybody sees it. They all have Apple MacBooks and all that shit, and they're kind of looking very condescendingly upon his old man case. And by the end of the film, all the hipsters are adapting his ideas and retrofitting them to their needs. And it's like, oh, that's cool, full circle.
Yeah. And he's the hardest working dude in the place because he's got nothing else to do. Everybody else has well, you'd assume they have social lives, but they're nerds, so they don't have social lives. They just have nothing to do. But he seems to be working the hardest. So...
And he also used to work in that same building as he's like a manufacturing director or something. He was because it used to be, they made phone pages. They made the yellow pages.
Yeah.
And so it was like a bit of, history for him there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is not my favorite film. Let me see. I'm looking on Letterboxd. I gave it 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Writers, directors, producers, and cast members. I'll definitely work with all of you guys again. I'm just saying. It just did not appeal to me. This one simple, probably under the influence viewer.
Yeah, if we're going with the reality aspect of it, it's kind of a commentary on like how we're all stuck, all the new age stuff. We're stuck in this world of computers and we can't really think outside the box. And so this old guy comes and he doesn't know the lingo, he doesn't know the moves that you should be making with this kind of technology startup. But he brings all the old school stuff in.
Hard work.
Yeah, the hard work.
Punctuality.
Yeah, put my hands on it, I'll make it work.
Socks that come up to the top of your fucking knees.
Yeah. And so he brings all that stuff in it. And oh my God, it's amazing again. The company works great.
Right. Also, fun fact, he gets a lot of bitches. And it's like, okay, it's like a funny jab. But, that happens. Like this... People think old people don't like kiss or hug, but they get down, man. Like if you've never stayed up late and seen like at least 30 infomercials talking about your erectile dysfunction, it's a thing, and they will eat them shits like Skittles and be fucking yo bitch, by lunch. And he gets a lot of play.
Yeah,
a lot of play. And in fact, doesn't Anne Hathaway's character make a pass on him? And they're both in her hotel room wearing robes. And it just looks like it. And this is because she's also like in grief because she already knew, but like she has to come to the realization that her husband is sleeping around.
Yeah.
And
it gets to that point where you kind of like wonder, like, I don't know what's going on here. It's kind of weird, but
yeah.
I mean, it's happened. But usually the older man has money. And Robert De Niro owned a house, but he didn't really have money per se.
He owned a fucking house in New York, so yeah.
I mean that's something.
But you're right. She was like a startup CEO. But you're right. The dynamics there were made purposefully kind of weird, so that maybe we didn't, read too much into it or get weirded out. Yeah,
it was a strange thing, but I think it's.
Would you call it Netflix and chillable?
I would call it. I would call it easy. You know how they have the genre of music, easy listening, where you just kind of like sit in the tub or whatever you do in your Epsom salts or whatever you do in the tub, and you just like sit and you got the music playing in the background. It's like the shit you hear on an elevator or whatever. That's kind of what I would do with this movie. If you're on the computer, you're looking at eBay or something for like new tablets or something like that, and you're not really into watching the videos of it, you're more into like reading specs and like CNET reviews, then have this on in the background. And
it's a great background flick. It's probably one of the best background flicks you can find.
Yeah, I mean, that should be a new genre, background flicks.
Yeah.
We should do background flicks.
Well, this is the first episode of Background Flicks. Hey, all right.
Yeah, guys, you know what? If you guys want to make a list on Letterboxd, please send it to me. Background Flicks. I want to see your list.
Yeah.
On Letterboxd.
Films that specifically fill that white noise void for when you're cleaning the house, but you kind of want to see something entertaining every 7.5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And while you get back to your shit and you can forget about it, come back and say, oh yeah, you know what? That wasn't half bad.
Yeah, the kind of movie that you just want to like drink a couple beers or drink a couple glasses of wine and you don't mind, like, it's not going to bother you to get up, go to the kitchen, get a new bottle or get a new cup or whatever, and come back and you don't feel like you missed anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like if you're a dad and you're like, hey, hon, I'm going to step out for cigarettes, and you never ever come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is that film you'd probably want on to distract her so you at least get a 1.5 hour head start.
Or if you're a new dad and you're learning to change a diaper and you know it's going to take 2 hours. That's a way to do it too.
Yeah. So altogether, the reality of this is much like our own lives. It just runs in the background.
It runs in the background. It's a background
process. A lot of people would turn this off on their iPhone, but some people like it on. You know, it serves a purpose.
Yeah.
So, but if you want to talk more about it, or just, I don't know, want to rattle dumb shit in our ears, you can find us on letterboxd.com/Southern Scholar. And Omar, where can they find you?
Letterboxd.com/theoman. Send me your lists. I am waiting for them.
All right, then. Talk to you later, America. We out.
Peace.